Hi everyone, welcome to Sacred Soulful Sundays. My name is B. Pila, and let's get into this week's session. The language of our spirituality comes in very cryptic forms, okay? Comes in ways that we must pay attention, and I guess it's purposeful so that it causes us to take a pause, to dive in instead of being exposed to the outside. We need to take moments to pause and to pay attention to the messages that are being sent around us. And all of you, having been my beautiful students for so long now, are ready. Okay, you're ready to do this for yourselves, to pay attention to the angel numbers that come in, and all of it is mathematics, and that's what's beautiful about this sacred geometry. You see here, if you can see it here, that's what's beautiful about the sacred geometry, is that the symbols of the flower of life is the start of the creative process. In the Masonic, have you ever wondered what that symbol of the, like almost like the compass with the G in it, means for people that are Masons, right? Or have studied the Masonic principles? You might have thought that the G was for God, but it's not. It's for Genesis.
Okay? The beginning.
The beginning. Correct. So that information is a very simplistic symbology. What does the circle mean? You know, remember the Lion King, the circle of life, right? Well, that circle means that we end up where we started. Okay? So the creative process and the creation, or the genesis of life, starts with a single circle in which thought knows itself. Okay? Spirit acknowledges knowledge of itself and creates the first circle. Okay? It starts, and then the second circle is created, and it expands into the flower of life. And if you look at even an embryo becoming a human being, where does it start? With a single cell that breaks into 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7, right? So it creates and creates and creates, and that single cell that was you at the beginning ends up being what we are. But where do we end up at the end? At the end, and this was the second message that came in, every single dream that I had for a week straight, of course, 7 days. For 7 days, I have dreamed with fire and burning, and like in every shape and form, and barbecue and fire and burning them. And I kept saying, what the hell is going on? That must have been what I ate last night. I don't think it's worth it. It suited me. I was like, every night I dreamt with fire. I'm like, fire and burning and ash. And this is not typical. I mean, I want you to know that this is not something that happens to me usually, so much so that I had to notice, okay, that it was a repeated pattern. Till last night, the 7th night, where I get my message. It's the phoenix. It's the burning away of the old so that we can usher in the new from the ashes. Okay? So the message, my lovely goddesses, is that we are all burning away the old. And burning isn't fun, okay? Burning is a very permanent, scorching completion. I mean, once you burn something, it's gone, right?
Right.
It's not something we put, because see, I've been talking about purging a lot, right? In the past few sessions, I've talked about purging and how important it is to purge the old so that we can bring in the new. Well, they've been clarifying, they've been clarifying B, you've been talking about purging, yes, but this isn't about purging. This isn't just about purging. The purging is becoming aware of what's burdening you, okay? What is weighing you down? What is holding you in the past, preventing you from going to the future, from manifesting the beautiful future that you all deserve? That's your birthright, okay? Yes, that purging is part of the awareness and the awakening. But the next step is in the burning of it, so that it's gone permanently, so that the new can come in from the ashes. Does that make sense? Okay. So the message that was given from me from 707 was, you're on the right path, B. In fact, I looked this up so many times, it's not even funny. Every message was, you're doing what you're supposed to do, B. We are happy. We are pleased. We are very, very pleased that you are teaching others what you are aware of, what you know, and what they need to know. And that message has to be exponentially transferred on, just like the sacred flower of life. That circle needs to expand to all beings on this planet. And we're in charge of doing it, okay? We are creating it. That is the genesis that we are about to experience. And guys, like the phoenix, we have to burn it. Okay? We have to burn away the old concepts that do not serve us. We have to go back to the beginning when we understand who we are from the inside out. Okay? With a discarding or burning away of any concepts that are not aligned with love. Okay? And also be in the full understanding, by the way, that everything is in the realm of God. There is no exclusions in the polarity of God. So the 7 principles that make up each day of creation, which when the circle becomes the next circle, there was light, right? I mean, even if you go to Genesis in the Bible, it says it quite clearly. And you might want to read it again and read it from a different perspective, not in the religious context that maybe they taught us when we were young children, but more from a conceptual, abstracted, almost mathematical perspective. Okay? How the process of creation began and why it is so important. Okay? Because everything begins with this single circular pattern. Everything. And everything that is manifested is part of that creative process. And the mathematical world, in fact, nature runs on sacred geometry. The golden mean, the Fibonacci sequence of numbers, everything, even numbers, as you know, are spiritual.
Okay. Yeah, music, like they said, they were saying music on the video also.
Yes, exactly. Every single thing. If you saw that video, and it's so funny how just in 11 minutes it can tell you so much. And believe me, there's so much more to this, but I wanted just to touch upon it. And I've always been attracted to these shapes, you know, and believe it or not, I always have said that I pretty much sucked at math, but I can tell you geometry always was my strong suit. So geometric forms have always intrigued me. And what I also learned as I dove into this was that the circle, right, represents creation, or the womb, like the egg, zero, you know, the zero again, 707 for me in the middle, that creative circle, which is the egg, right? But then when you add the connections of the straight forms, what they represent is the masculine, the metatronic cube that forms every single geometric shape in the universe. Okay, what does that mean? That means that we need to balance the masculine and the feminine together in order to be whole, complete, and in our perfect alignment, right? It's not one or the other, it's one and the other. That ideally, the way that nature creates and the way we are meant to create and manifest is through the perfect harmony and balance. Again, harmony is music of these forms. Okay? The flower of life is the beginning. And when those connections are made in straight lines, which is what sacred geometry shows, okay, it's the masculine embedded within the feminine in perfect balance and harmony. Yes, you just noticed my necklace. Exactly. So I've been studying, and believe me, I've been wanting to speak about the tree of life. And if you go into even the Hebrew, you know, if you go into the Jewish religion, the Kabbalah talks about the tree of life. In fact, it's more of a vertical form, which is hidden within these forms. And by the way, Leslie, this was a gift from you. This came in that little package you gave me with my crystal and the book. And that was a cute little package. This geometric shape has been staring at me every day. I have it in my window in my bathroom, and I'm so intrigued by it. And I was like, how do I explain this? How do I go into this with everybody? How do I get this information over? Well, it came as a 707 message that it's time. And I believe in my heart that it's because we're ready to unite all sides of ourselves, the heart, the mind, and then the last portion, which is this circle around the entire circle, guys. This circle represents 8. Okay, the outside perimeter circle represents 8. And that is the lost principle of care. That's why I wrote that on my notes about talking today. So what is the lost principle of care? The lost principle of care is basically
care, like C-A-R-E.
Correct, of
Okay.
care, C-A-R-E, which means quite simply that we have to care. That without caring, you don't take action. It's all just a thought. It's all just a blank energy. You understand? You have to care about something in order to take action, right? That's why I ask you today to think about, as the new year is ushered in, okay? As the new year is ushered in, after 2 years of the most strange years that we have had in our lifetimes, I would believe that there isn't anybody on this planet that has not been affected in some way by the last 2 years of our lives, deeply. We will never be the same, but that's a good thing. How will we be different? What are we going to care about? I'm going to ask you to write that down. What do you care about? What do you truly care about? Because it is through that principle, that lost principle of care, that we will generate our lives collectively. I believe that all of us, part of our maturity as spiritual beings is to grow in our responsibility as becoming adults, of course, right? As we become spiritual adults, because it's one thing to become an adult, and it's quite another to become a spiritual adult. It's quite another to take responsibility for everything that shows up in your life, good, bad, or otherwise. And if we don't care, if we don't care about what we do, what we say, what we show, how we show up in this world, if we don't, then collectively, which that's another beautiful symbolism of the tree of life and of the flower of life. The flower of life, if you notice, every single circle is connected to the other. There is no such thing as separation, meaning that every person, every human being is connected to another. And if we believe in our spiritual immaturity that we're not, we are immature. We are children. Okay? So it's time to care. It's time to care about something. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be just your own family. It could be, I care enough to teach my children every day a little something. I care enough to stand in the grocery line and wish somebody a happy day. I care enough to bless the world in my meditation. Whatever that is, I don't care what it is, ironically, but it must be care. Okay? Because it is that circle, that ultimate perimeter circle that binds us together, complete. And we must go back to the beginning. We have to burn away everything that has not served us and usher in a new era. Exactly, Michi. In every way, we must try in little small ways or in big ways, whichever way, to care. Because I think that what was being told to me with this deep message that I received which was, this week was probably one of the most challenging weeks for me, because usually the message comes in so clearly that I'm like, damn, I'm right on it. But this one, I had to really dive deep into all of the symbolism that was being thrown at me all at once. And I want to read something to you that I looked up, because it's when I started from the numbers, okay, because the number came in so strongly. It said these numbers message is to continue strengthening our spiritual connection to the divine realm and never stop helping others do the same. In return, we shall be showered with positive energy and lasting love. Don't be afraid of change and flush all the negative emotions that stop you from advancing forward. You should take this time to learn more about the rest of the core numbers as described in numerology. You will be amazed at what you will find out about yourself. Okay? I know that this message came in so strongly that I know that I was being told that what I'm doing is exactly the right thing, that I am on my path, that I am on my purpose. And I was told to tell all of you to do two things. To number one, to care about something, to deeply care about your spiritual growth, about the spiritual growth of others, and about expanding in whatever way you can that knowledge and wisdom so that collectively we can grow to the next level of the new earth. Okay, that's number one. I also feel that as the phoenix and as this symbolism of fire or trial by fire, we will be tested in the upcoming year. In the upcoming year, you will be challenged and watch the fires burn. But I know deep in my heart that our deeper purpose and our deeper being knows what is right. You know, I will be damned if you wouldn't walk past a burning building, okay? A burning building, and your instinct, if you heard a child crying in that burning building, would you try and rescue it? Would you run in? Yes, that is who we are. That is who we are. We are not the ones that don't care and keep walking down the sidewalk. That is the symbolism behind this. It's to deeply care and become who we really are. In spite of the fears that we have, of course we would be afraid. Of course we would be afraid to jump into the fire. But our instinct, our deeper purpose, our deeper compassion would cause us to do so. There's the message. And in symbolism of this, I would like for all of you to sit down and write what's left to purge in your heart. What's left to burn away. And when you get to that message, whatever it is, whoever you need to release, whatever you need to release, it might be traumas from your childhood, it might be feelings of neglect and abandonment, it might be a lack of forgiveness to someone that harmed you. Whatever that is, write it down. And in this beautiful message of burning away, burn it. Fold it up and burn it. And release it from your heart so that you can usher in all the love that you deserve. Because it is through that forgiveness, through that letting go, through that burning away of the old negative patterns that we have been carrying. And this week has been also very symbolic for me because I have helped some women that I know become aware of certain patterns in their past that are still burdening them and still coming up for them. Ironically, I've counseled at least 3 women this week on the same issues. Feelings of abandonment, that came up a lot. Needing to let go of the old. If we do this, we're able to release that forever. Forever. Just like when you burn something, it's gone. So that then, just like a forest that burns down and you look at it and you're sad and you can't believe how all of it's gone in a flash. And yet you come back a few months later and you'll see that those little seedlings are starting to sprout from the ashes. That's the kind of burning I'm talking about. Okay? The lost principle of care was new to me, actually. I had never really heard about it. I've heard about so many others. You know that I've covered all the universal laws, and that's actually something that I'd like to dive deeply into at Rancho when we're at peace and we're calm and we can explore them together in front of each other. I really want to go back on these universal laws because I really believe that this knowledge, and this is what I'm talking about, the knowledge of these things have not been given to us. It's almost like they've been hidden away just as cryptically as that flower of life that we may have seen in numerous things and not even understand it. Because again, nobody tells us. Nobody takes the time to care about our spiritual education. Yes, this is how we do it, right? Our kids are born, maybe if we're born like me into the Roman Catholic religion, you get taken into you know, that whole world of we have to go to mass on Sunday and we got to get our first communion and we got to be baptized and we have to do this and we have to do that. And it's everything's a have to, right? But do we really, really understand the concepts in our heart, right? Do we, and then sometimes we get to the point where we're kind of overloaded and burdened with the education of our children, and we get kind of lazy, and it's like we let anybody else teach them what they should know. Like, well, they're just going to go to school and Bible study and what is that, CCD, and those stories will be told to them and it'll be fine because they've got it done. Just like we do the same thing when we send our children to school every day, right? We do that. We all do. You know, I know whatever education I got by default. Okay. It was a mixed bag. It was some Roman Catholic, some my grandfather telling me about the miracles that happen in Cuba, y la Virgencita de la Caridad, and the this and the that. You know, I got a mixed bag of education, but I can tell you one thing, the spiritual education that I have been on my own, taking deep responsibility for my own spiritual growth and awakening, and I have decided to do so because I care about what I am inside. I deeply care. And I've also made the connection, and this is what I want you all to understand. I want you all to make the connection between what happens on the inside is a reflection on the outside. And there is no escaping it. You may escape it for 1, 2, 10, 20, 200 lifetimes. I don't care, but you will not escape the truth of who you are. It's impossible. So at some point, you're going to come back full circle to where you started. Okay? Some of us may take a long time to get there. Some of us are just starting on the journey. Everything is vibrational, guys, everything. So vibrate high, elevate your moods, use the tools that we've been talking about for 2 years in your arsenal of good deeds, okay? Be a beacon of light onto this world. We so need it. And let's hope that the alienation that we are experiencing at this time starts blowing away like a cloud. Okay? This is my hope. This is my prayer. And I hope that you will find your caring heart and join it with your thoughtful mind and with your strong will and action. Hope you enjoyed what we talked about today. And if you did, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. We love to hear what you have to say.